journey. Oh, I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. And I sure do love my job. Oh, I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. But I sure do love my job. Yes, I sure do love my job. Yeah. Oh, I really love my job. I was born to preach the gospel. You were born to preach the gospel. You were born to preach the gospel. So join me on this call. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Everybody, this is Derek. He's a good buddy of
Morning.
mine. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, definitely a beautiful day in Michigan. Um, so, Derek, what'd you think of that intro?
That was lovely. I was like, who? It was weird looking at it. So I was like, who's singing the guitar? How is he singing guitar? And right here with me, I'm guessing it's pre-recorded.
Yeah. Oh, good morning. Good morning. So I invited Derek on because we actually do a prayer call every morning. But he's also a chaplain at the USPBL for
Yeah.
yeah, those players there. We had an interesting season this year, but it was awesome. And I just invited him on because he has just an amazing testimony. Um, and there's all those people that I was gonna tell this joke, and Adrian told me not to tell it, so I'm gonna listen to her. Anyways, Derek, you want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Which part that I'm a guy? I live on Lake St. Clair, and I'm surviving winter and the pandemic.
Yeah,
Or
pretty.
I was born with something called hydrocephalus, and that's where I have to have a tube drain the fluid from my head to my stomach. And with that, I've had so many complications. I've had over 500 surgeries and 9 grand mal seizures. I had a stroke. On the nice part of it, the normal side of life, I've had 8 bike accidents. And
Oh
I
my
talk to people who
god.
go, that's not normal. I said, my world was brain surgeries and hydrocephalus. So normal was bike accident. That's something a normal person can have.
Yeah.
And I went to a trade school when I was 20 and they deemed me unemployable. And I was like, what the heck? They said,
Hmm.
go do some volunteer work and then come back. Well, I started volunteering at a food pantry and doors opened to where I could be me and speak life. And I saw the chaplains. I was like, can I pray with you guys? So I started praying alongside the chaplains. And there were moments he used me to speak into people's lives.
Come on.
And then there was one morning I was bike riding. I used to bike ride there. I was bike riding, and all of a sudden it was, wait, let me pray over my bike path that it saturates the kind of like when you're the big cedars that go across the farm and plant seeds that's going. That was the
Yeah.
vision I had of my bike ride as that seeds would be planted as I crossed the sidewalk, as I crossed the parking lots, as I crossed streets, that it would
Hmm.
saturate with the love of God. And then I
Come on.
go into the food pantry and I would walk over every can, every box of food, and I would pray over it again, saturating because I was like, some people have a hardened heart and don't want you to pray with them. So I was like,
Yeah.
how, how can I reach this person who's got a wall up? And I was like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna affect what they're gonna use.
Yeah.
And then I also
Yeah.
started working at a high school, and I was like, how can I affect people here? It was the same thing. I was praying over the bleachers, praying over the food that was going to served again, that it would get saturated so that seeds would get planted.
Hmm.
And now here I am. I live in an apartment place and pandemic happened. And I was like, crap, I can't volunteer. What am I going to do? And I was going through a Bible study and it was like becoming a king, redefining what being a man is. And it was kingship. What is your kingdom? I said,
Mm.
here. And I got the part. So again, I captured that aspect of going out and just saturating the grounds where I live so that
Yeah.
somebody who comes behind me could then get affected. There's
Come on.
the story of a prayer closet. Well, I was like, I want my prayer closet to be the world. That when somebody comes into an area I've been, they can be like, whoa, there's something different about this spot. And I'm
Mhm.
like, that's the kind of effect I wanted to have on people. And so I now, everywhere I go, I have that prayer of, let me saturate it into effect that when somebody crosses it and is sensitive to the Spirit, will be like, whoa, I sense the Holy Spirit here. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's my prayer, that somebody will come across here and be like, this is someone's prayer closet.
Mm.
That's been my prayers. Let my prayer closet be the world. Let me affect the world in that aspect. I may not be able to reach the world, but I can affect the ground that they're going to walk on. That
Wow.
when they're just hanging out with family in the park, sitting on a bench, that bench has been saturated with God's love, so they're getting affected. And
Yeah.
then when they talk to their kids, they're affected.
Mhm.
And there was a moment I remember talking to you. I was like, I can't wait to get to heaven. And some random person comes up to me and goes, "You prayed over my picnic table, and I got touched." That
Come
that's.
on. Come
And I was
on.
like talking to somebody. I was like, "Is that a ministry?" And they're like, "Yeah." I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, okay, let's do it. Let's
No,
go."
absolutely. Absolutely.
Because
Prayer
it's.
is so powerful.
I was like, I can't get. I'm not in the lifestyle to where God doesn't want me to get a normal 9 to 5 job. It's
Mhm.
a go and live with him at my core so that people get affected.
Yeah.
One reason that came to me the other day was, like when you're at a park and it's 0 degrees and they have the like heat lamps.
Mm. Yeah.
So people can huddle around it to stay warm.
Mhm.
That's what God got me, kind of like a heat lamp so that when somebody comes near me, they can get affected by God. Because I
Yeah.
can't, well, I can't say I can't, but I'm not set up to go and do a 9 to 5 job. I'm set up to be uh, just a lifestyle person. I'm like, okay, God, how do you
Mm.
want my lifestyle to be? How can I affect people with my lifestyle? Which to
Come
me,
on.
for the longest time, felt wrong because that's not how the world trays you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
But lately, it's been no, that's who you are. That's what you're supposed to be, and it's awesome. I get to go and
Mhm.
just live my life, and everybody goes, all the people down here, like, this is what you do when you're retired. And I was like, it's what I do now. But the cool part is that it's never ending. There's always someone new that I can come in contact with and affect,
Yeah.
and let just a high five or a hello or a smile, let that affect that person with the Spirit of God. Let me be so contagious that they're affected by just my smile.
Mm. Yeah. It's so good. I feel like that's why I want to have you on because just the a lot of times we try to overcomplicate things and we I got to go out, I got to do this, got to do that, and it's just like let's just spend time with God. While we're going, as we're going, spending time with the Lord, praying, asking God to shift atmospheres. I remember I was working at Turo Elementary in Lapeer, and before I would go into work, I would just have, like 15, 20 minute, and I would just pray, like, God, pray for my coworkers, pray for the students, and just like really ask, like, God, like, would you do something amazing today? Like, just show forth your goodness that one person might, experience your love. And for me doing that for just like a week, the next week that like literally the next week, 7 days, I went by and a Bible study started in the with some of the employees during lunchtime. And it was just like God starts shifting like so quick. Like God starts shifting the atmosphere. Pretty soon, like every, like more and more people were joining this Bible study, and to the point where the principal said that we were being too loud, you know? And so it's just like, I don't know. Prayer is so powerful, and prayer changes things. And so
Yeah.
if you're, want to do a prayer walk, if you want to, a prayer bike ride, whatever, wherever you are, like praying, throughout the grocery store, and then like that's it. That it's really just about spending time with God, and some of those times, like while you're praying, while you're walking, like God puts somebody in your path, and you just ask them, hey, can I pray for you? Or it's just they're just drawn to you, and it starts up this conversation where either God gets brought up or not. You just share the love of God. You share the love that's bubbling up inside of you. Like you just can't help it. Does that make sense? Um,
Awesome.
we got some good mornings happening. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Come on. That's all. It's always about just living sent. As we go, we're representatives of Christ. We're representatives of all the giftings that are in the kingdom, like righteousness, peace, joy, you know, long suffering. um, but we get to stand as representatives of those things, like that, like um, a characteristic that Christ attributes to himself is meekness. And as we just go out, we don't have to be, arrogant, and prideful, and but we can just be these humble giants, affecting the world around us and loving on the people around us, and asking God, like, how can I do that? How can I be a light for you today in this grocery store, on this jog? I mean, a lot of people jog around their neighborhoods, and some of your neighbors, right? And as you're jogging past them, like say a quick prayer for them, right? For their marriage, for their family. It's so powerful to stand as intercessors, standing in the gap for our neighbors and our brothers, our sisters. I had a friend who had this dream where this couple that he knew, he in this dream he was in their bedroom and they were fighting, and there was angels standing on either side of the bed, and they're just going at it, yelling. And he's like, God, like, why aren't the angels doing anything? And pretty soon he just started to pray for them. And as soon as he started to pray for them, the angels started to minister, and peace, um, came, over the house. And he doesn't know, if it had any effect or anything like that, but he knew from that day on, he was going to be praying for that family, and being an intercessor. Every time he heard an issue, every time he heard somebody going through something, he was going to stand in the gap. And I feel like as believers, it's kind of our duty to stand in the gap for others. For years, I prayed, that I would see. I had this vision in 2011 that I would be worshiping with my brothers, and for years I prayed and prayed and prayed, God, like, save my brothers, and it was this one. It was after a random church service. Another buddy came up, and he's just like, can I pray for you? Is there anything that we can pray for? And I said, yeah, actually, man, I can you just pray for the salvation of my brother? And we just prayed one more time, and then all of a sudden I get a text from my brother, and he rededicated his life to the Lord, and so it's just like, man, as we just press in and continue, making giving our petitions to the Lord, and praying without ceasing, like, God is so faithful, and he honors the prayers of his babies. So yeah, you have anything else, brother?
Well, that was it for me.
Hmm? What'd you
That was good. That's it for me.
say? Man, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, you're a bucket of joy, and to imagine, most people don't know, but he's always in pain, right? Like doctor said, we would go crazy if we were have to experience, the level of pain that you experience every day, and you can never even tell it because you're always smiling, you're always just full of joy, and you're always just, pouring out and loving on people, giving. You just have a huge heart to give, and I just attribute that to Holy Spirit in you, man. And so, thank you so much for joining me,
Yeah,
and
awesome.
I'm sure everybody was blessed that you got on today. Yeah, go on. He said, "This is awesome." Go on. So, this is cool. So, Christine is actually in Hawaii right now, and so I don't remember aloha, all that. Yeah, I can't remember. But make sure she's going to
If
be
she's wearing
joining
a winter
us.
coat, she needs to just like go away.
I don't think she. I think she probably sold that before she left. But make sure you guys join her for prayer right after this at 9. But yeah, we miss you, Christine. Love you. Love you guys. Thank you guys for joining. Peace.
Peace.